Welcome back to Talk of the Town. We're showing you a website, autismspeaks.org. Just one of many places people can go to get information about autism.
And we are going to continue our discussion with Dr. Tamir and Dr. McDonald. And we're going to talk a little bit about where Western New York can go to get some help and get some information.
Well, one of the things that we didn't talk about was the cause of autism. Is there a cause? Is there anything that we know? I know people out there might be worried about, is there anything that we did to cause our child to be sick? I mean, that's really not a consideration, is it?
Not really. I think that's a really good question, and the issue is that we don't have a lot of information as to the cause of autism. We know that it's a neurodevelopmental disorder, which means essentially the children are born with it, and the research is currently showing that there may be different genetic arrays that may come to play in autism. However, it's not consistent. So different genes that they're finding may be involved in certain children with autism, may not be involved in others. So that's still
haven't found the smoking gun.
Exactly. However, what we do know is that early intervention is important. We also know that evidence-based behavioral therapies are very important, and especially, like I mentioned, when started young and when continued through the lifespan, that's when you really see the children and the individuals, I should say, learning skills and increasing their ability to be more independent.
Okay, well, when you say early intervention, and that leads to my next question. Is there a typical treatment? I mean, it's not so much drugs that treats this condition, it's more of a behavioral conditioning that treats the condition, isn't it?
It's teaching skills.
And you do that.
Yes.
You do that.
Yes.
At the Institute for Autism Research at Canisius College, you teach skills. I'm telling you what, with my son, we went in with, lovely kid, but social skills, not so much. The things that they do, and I want to talk about the programs you offer at the Institute. So what are you doing? What do you got?
We work with kids with high functioning autism. So these are kids with average to above average IQs and average to above average language skills. And just like what we were talking about, behavioral treatments you use for kids across the spectrum, from limited cognitive skills to higher skills. What we do in our program is a cognitive behavioral. We teach skills and then provide multiple opportunities to practice. So we'll break down things that we take for granted, like we're having a conversation. We'll break down of teaching them, I say something, then you say something, then I respond to you. I don't just keep talking about what I want to talk about, right? And then also teaching them to end the conversation, right? Or to ask a question, to give a compliment. But learning that basically learning the social dance, that's the key piece. So it is, the way our programs are set up, we teach skills. We'll break up the segment, whether it's an after-school program or our summer program, we'll break up the day or the afternoon session into segments. The first 15 to 25 minutes are teaching a skill. We'll identify a specific skill we want to teach. We have the kids we'll role play to them, we model it to them, and then we have them act it out. So they're going to get multiple opportunities to, when I have a conversation, when I give a compliment, when I give an instruction, exactly how they're supposed to do it. Right? They give an example, they act it out. All the kids in the group are looking to make sure they're using the skill the proper way. And then following that instruction period, we do what we call a therapeutic activity. All it is, it's a cooperative group activity. It's putting the kids in it could be a board game, a computer task, an art task, but it's putting them in a situation where they've got to practice the skill. With the other peers in the group in a more naturally occurring situation. And
what I found with this program, which was so fantastic, I think a lot of times as parents we seek out treatment, and a lot of the things that the children learn in the confines of the institution they are seeking the treatment don't translate out into the real world. They're not functional in the real world. They can only do that thing when they're in that room at that table with that instructor. And with what you're doing at Canisius College, you're talking about all of this role play and then this cooperative use of what they've learned. The things that your program taught my son at Canisius College, he took them out of the building and began to apply them to his everyday life. And that's huge as a parent with a kid with autism, you know, so he can write his name at this table in this room, but if he can't do it anywhere else, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And your research and your program, I think, addresses that in a way that I had not seen it addressed in the past.
Right, because we have college students, undergraduate and graduate students, but we've trained teachers as well. But we train them how to implement the program. It's all manualized, so everything's written out in terms of what we're supposed to do. And then we train the parents, so we'll have weekly parent education or monthly, depending on what the program is. We do parent education because it's not some magic dust that we say here, or we're going to work with your kid and then we'll give them to you. We do work with the kid, but we want the families to know what we're doing so that we can generalize and practice the skills throughout the day. Related to what you're saying, earlier you were asking about the cause of whatever. We know that autism isn't some unresolved psychological conflict. You know, dad yelled at his kid or mom said, no, you can't have that, and then the kid's like, I think I'll have autism. That's not what causes autism. It's a skill deficit. They don't know what to do. So what we're going to do is teach them the skills and then give them multiple opportunities to practice.
So if there's a perception out there that autism is this child, this person who's trapped inside themselves and can't overcome that's wrong. That's an improper perception of what's happening.
And you know where I think that comes from is that a lot of children on the spectrum are withdrawn and maybe they don't engage socially, so it probably appears as if that is what's happening with them.
But it can be overcome to a certain degree. In most cases or all cases, is it?
Well, in terms of overcome, if you're saying cure, we don't have the cure for autism. What we're going to do, as with anybody that has any difficulty, is if I have a difficulty in something, I need to learn strategies to override, to help me deal with the deficits that I have, right, or the problems that I have. So in this case, for individuals with autism, it's the social. Right? I'm going to give strategies that will help me make eye contact, respond to nonverbal cues, stay on topic, not just keep telling you everything about something you don't want to know about, in great detail. So it's about teaching skills. But that would be the case for anybody that has any kind of difficulty or problem in interacting or with any kind of disorder.
I'm sure that a lot of people who don't interact with individuals with autism would use that word cure. I think that's kind of a common approach. But I don't want to cure my son. He is who he is. So instead, I want to give him the tools to be who he is independently and in a functional way in society.
Right.
To cure, that'd be like, I'm going to cure my blue eyes. I mean, I was born with blue eyes.
Right. And they have, we keep talking about their interests, so I keep repeating about my interest. I'm not taking away their I'm not trying to take away their interest in Pokemon, Minecraft, whatever it is, or what they've got to learn, there's a time and a place. I'd love the world to accept everybody for who they are, but that doesn't always happen, right? So it's not that you can't talk about Minecraft, you just got to learn there's a time and a place to do it, And I want to point out, in terms of the programs that we have, you hear the word that we're doing research. We are doing research because it's our job to make sure what we're doing actually makes a difference, right? A parent's job is to do anything you can to help your kid, and I totally respect that. Our job is to make sure what we're doing actually makes a difference because our kids grow up quick. Right? So when I say we have research, though, we're not all wearing lab coats when your kids, when your son came. It's not, welcome to another day of clinical research treatment. They just see it as an after-school program.
They're playing, they're having fun.
Right.
They go swimming, they go outside. It's a summer camp. My son, as far as he was concerned, woke up in the morning in the summer to go to camp with his friends and with the research students from Canisius College who he perceived were there to enjoy his time.
Right.
And then kind of the added benefit of all the fun we have at Canisius is we learn functionality.
Right.
Win-win.
But we have data, and that's a key word. We have data to show when we compare kids that get our summer program compared to kids that don't, right? The kids that participate in our summer program made significant gains in both targeted skills, the skills we're targeting, as well as broader skills we didn't teach, and we showed reductions in autism symptoms. We're not curing autism, but it makes sense if you improve social skills, you're going to reduce social deficits.
We're almost out of time on this segment, but just briefly, we've talked about the here and the now. Where do you see the future of this condition? I mean, where is it going? Is it the research that you're doing, is it going to make a difference in the future? Is it all going to be just what we're doing today?
Well, I don't know. I can't predict the future, but I think what we're doing is changing. I mean, what we're seeing in the kids we work with and hearing from families and schools and the studies that we're doing in schools.
They're changing lives today.
Yeah.
And those lives that are changed today are the future. And we've got to go to commercial break. So we'll be back in a moment.